I wish I could do that. But Carolyn tells me if I use the next thing we're going to talk about, it won't be long before I can. Carolyn, you're a fitness expert, a trainer, and you come across all sorts of different equipment.
Yeah.
But the one thing that we all do before we start and when we finish, we kind of do a big stretch. And actually stretching is really important, but sometimes quite difficult to do right.
It is. Stretching is very important for general health and fitness, and also for just your well-being. You watch a cat when it gets up, does a full body stretch, stretches out the spine, stretches its legs, necks. Animals do it naturally. We've lost our instinct. We forget to do it. And really, our lives aren't very friendly to our muscles, so we end up with this kind of hunched up posture. This is an amazing tool that everybody should have.
It doesn't look like much, but it's really clever, isn't it?
So whether you're into fitness, whether you're into yoga, whether you're into stretching, give this a go. This was actually a taxi driver, John Kelly, who invented this, because he was obviously sitting in his car, driving all day long, ended up with terrible posture, tight muscles, and his wife was very into yoga, so he went along to the yoga, found it incredibly difficult, couldn't reach any of the poses. He tried using yoga straps, which is a bit like a dressing gown cord you wrap around your hands and use to pull, and it just didn't feel right to him. He felt really uncomfortable, so he came up with this fantastic invention.
How do we use this then?
Okay, so the wonderful thing about it is that your fingers fit in through these notches, so there's 20 notches on the belt, and the first exercise that I'll show you is a really great shoulder opener. So there is a yoga pose where you have to try and reach your hands together.
I could never do that.
No, it's quite early in the morning, I'm reasonably stiff, I can just about do it.
I can't get there no matter how much I try.
Okay, now if you drop your fingers through the top here, pop your fingers in a comfortable position, don't stress. Okay, so just hold it there for a sec, and you can start to relax in the shoulders.
Oh yeah.
And then as you get warmer and your muscles start to relax into the stretch, just see if you can work your top fingers down to the next notch.
So you gradually stretch.
There you go, so you walk your fingers down the ladder, and it just gently brings you into the stretch. And I see how your hands are in a nice comfortable position there.
Yeah.
The stress is on the fingertips. And if you imagine if you were holding onto a rope,
is that my hand?
There you go, you're touching. So you've actually achieved the stretch already. So that shows you how you can just gradually use the ladder to walk your fingers closer together to give you a wonderful shoulder opener.
Honestly, I'm genuinely surprised, because I've always struggled with that one, and I know it's a really good one because it really opens out your chest, and you you stand much more proudly with it, but it's hard to do because if you can't reach, you can't do it.
Absolutely. So there you go, prime example, and perfect for people who are in the car for a long time or sitting at a desk and they have this rounded shoulders. You want to open up the shoulders.
And you would do both sides. You would do that way, and then you would do that way.
And most people are very different. They might be able to touch one side, and then the other side, they might be miles apart. So obviously you've got room for all kinds of different flexibility with this.
Right.
Now another one, classic stretch, hamstring length. Hamstrings run down the back of the thigh from the knee to the bottom.
I have problems with hamstrings.
Men particularly have very tight hamstrings. So let's see how far down towards your toes you can go first of all. So don't push it. It's relatively early in the morning.
Okay. Now I used to be able to put my hands flat on the floor, but I'm already feeling there.
Yeah, and you've got your knees bent as well.
Have I? Oh.
Yeah. Sorry to disappoint you. So just tuck this under your toes.
Okay.
Okay, and just hold on to the first handle. And then you're just going to stay there for a moment and relax.
Okay.
So you've already straightened out your knees. Now as you start to feel that your muscles are slightly stretching and opening up, just see if you can walk your fingertips down to the next hole.
Oh, all right. And it gives you the facility to kind of pull against something, not pull against something, but to give you guidance as to what you should be doing.
And the fact that he's made it out of leather means it's really durable and strong. So as you're pulling with your fingers, because you are putting a bit of pressure through the strap, it's not stretching out of shape, so it is actually holding you into the stretch. And the wonderful thing is we can see clearly there how your arm and your hand are in perfect alignment. They're not scrunched up into a knot if you were holding onto the traditional yoga belt.
Well, because I was going to say, why don't you just take your belt off and use that? So what's the difference? I mean, this is like a big broad belt. Why don't I just take my belt off and hold that?
Well, the wonderful thing is that you've obviously got the fingertip holes. So anything that you're holding in your fist puts your hand into a fist position, and then when you want to change, you have to take your fist off, move the belt through. So although yoga belts are wonderful, this is like a really new modern twist.
The ladder.
It's because the ladder, you can walk the fingers up.
Okay, I'm beginning to understand this. Now it is leather because obviously if it was rubber that would stretch too much. This isn't designed to stretch, but it's designed to be comfortable.
Absolutely, so it is comfortable, it is strong and sturdy. Now another reason why you need it to be sturdy, for example, this exercise, which I would find virtually impossible without the strap, I'm putting a lot of tension through that strap. Now the idea is to try and keep the hips facing forward.
I couldn't do what?
Yeah, that's not bad. So do you feel how much pressure you're putting through that strap? Now, if you were
can't balance.
Well, balance is... now you're putting
Thank you.
Balance is one of the key things with this particular exercise.
Do you know,
great for opening the hips, great for stretching out the inner thighs, and you couldn't do it without this.
I can see these appearing in gyms all over the country because it's the sort of thing. I mean, I used to go to the yoga classes, the Pilates classes, and,
yes.
and they would say to me, oh, well, don't worry if you can't do it. But the thing is, if you couldn't do it, you couldn't do anything.
That's
Here,
right.
it gets you into it easily.
It does. And the great thing is it puts you into correct posture. So this is the traditional forward bend. Now, most people try and hold on to their legs. Now, if you just lift the camera slightly, you can see that my back's really hunched over.
Yeah,
and my shoulders are rounded.
And you can see, and that rounding and that is putting strain on your shoulders and your back, isn't it?
And it's not actually enhancing the stretch. Now, if I try and do it with this, I can sit up, I can keep my shoulders in the right position because of the positioning of my hands, and I can just walk my fingers further.
So you're stretching what you want
feet.
to stretch rather than stretching what you have to do the exercise.
Absolutely. So now the stretch is purely into the back of my lower back and into the hamstrings, the back of the legs.
Well, if you've struggled with, you know, the stretching in the past, and you've tried towels and you've tried belts and you've tried dressing gown cords and you've tried various different things, and they haven't really worked for you, try this.